Hi, my name is Kristen van Tonder, an Educational Technology Advisor at the Centre for Innovation and Learning and Teaching at the University of Cape Town. The Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, is a framework for good practice when designing equitable learning environments that embraces students' diversity and promotes inclusive learning spaces. Based on 3 principles: to present information that enables diverse students to gain knowledge in different ways, representation, differentiating the way students are able to express what they know, expression, and allowing students to deepen their engagement and interests in the world around them through different learning activities that are accessible to students with different abilities, experiences, and interests, engagement. This is Aika, an English Literature Studies tutor who applies UDL principles to facilitate reflective activities during her tutor sessions.
So this exercise came from a module that looked at memory and the city, and the professor had really done an amazing job showcasing how District 6 has been memorialized so much that it almost functions like a character, in fiction. What happens when a city becomes like a character because it has that persona. And so this activity was also closely following a major essay submission. So what I did with the Padlet was the first, it's 4 questions that I posed. The first is a low stakes, let's debrief, how did essay 1 go? And then the second and the third are also low stakes questions because they are creative questions, meaning that you want students to respond creatively, which is always a nice way of getting them to to really lean on their own expertise, which is their experience, as opposed to trying to figure out answers from some academic article or so. And specifically because the professor had lectured on the memorialization of District 6 through theater and through the District 6 Museum. I'm assuming everyone is more or less familiar with Cape Town and the just this enormous importance that the District 6 Museum has. And then something unexpected happened with those 2 questions, because I basically asked one question, if there was a museum about your hometown, what would be memorialized there? And then the third one was, if you were to you write a play about your hometown or city, how would that play open? What would be the opening scene? And then, just for good measure, the 4th question that you see here, which is called vocabulary exercise, was really designed to gauge on my part and the other tutors' part how well the students had actually grasped major concepts from the module. Okay, so you can go to the next slide. The first one had the effect that people shared how essay 1 went for them. So it was a bit of an icebreaker, because people were admitting towards their vulnerabilities. And so, for example, there was one student who eventually wrote that she actually never understood the question. And as soon as she had posted that on the Padlet, then there would be 3 other voices that said, I also didn't understand the question. I thought I was the only one. So that had a community building effect, I think. And for us as tutors, there was some valuable information that emerged in terms of what were the blocks for essay 1. Now, what surprised me, and this is sort of why I actually submitted this as a sample of a successful lesson. What surprised me were the responses to the second and the third questions. They had to have listened to the lecture in order to be able to answer both questions. And what emerged then is that the students sort of thrived in that space of representing themselves and talking about their communities. So what you see on the screen here is one student saying flat out, I don't think anyone would want to build a museum in honor of Mitchell's plane. But if they did, it would just consist of bullet casings, statues of emaciated dogs, broken beer bottles. It isn't all that bad, but the bad definitely outweighs the good. So the only way to honor my neighborhood is to accept the bad alongside with the good. So this is what then prompted others to also not so much deliver something that they thought we want to hear as tutors, but to really be authentic. And we got more response to these two questions than pretty much anything else at that point in the course. And I really think it's because it asked them to be experts on their own neighborhood and critically engage with how to represent that neighborhood. So I would say Padlet was a nice format for creating a very visually appetizing and flow of thoughts. It's a little more appetizing than the forum would have been, because in the forum, you even though you can click on a conversation thread and you see what everybody is posting, the Padlet allows sort of for an uninterrupted presentation of everybody's idea.
ICA had two goals: to provide students with a space to reflect and to provide students with the opportunity to engage with classmates. These goals also align with the goals of the UDL framework of creating learners who are not only purposeful and motivated, but also resourceful, knowledgeable, and strategic. We can see how ICA achieves these goals by incorporating UDL principles through the use of Padlet. ICA creates opportunities for multiple means of engagement by using Padlet for student reflections. This UDL principle allows students to deepen their engagement and interest in the world around them. We can see how ICA applied this principle by asking students to share what would be memorialized in a museum about their hometown, and what would be in the opening scene of a play about their hometown. These prompts are relevant, valuable, and meaningful, which lead to students engaging deeply with the concepts being taught. By using the Padlet as a tool, students are able to read each other's responses and make comments, fostering collaboration between them. For example, students could see that their classmates also struggled to understand the essay questions, and this strengthened their sense of connection. ICA also provides her students with multiple means of representation by asking them to construct new meanings of the content by reflecting on previously completed tasks. When asking students to draw from the lecture, they are given an opportunity to build connections and pick up on big ideas or critical features. This allows students to transform the lecture into usable knowledge. Finally, ICA provides a platform for students to give multiple means of action and expression. By using a collaborative tool such as Padlet, students have the opportunity to provide feedback in an innovative and collaborative way. ICA mentioned that Padlet was great for visually expressing the flow of thoughts and ideas in an appetizing and uninterrupted manner. The questions that were posed also allowed students to express themselves authentically. As ICA said, it asked them to be experts on their own neighborhoods and critically engage with how to represent that neighborhood.